I'm a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
Hello collectors, blah blah blah, this kind of action figure dude Christopher. Last time we were here, we saw that Teela was up against it. She's being held captive by the minions of Skeletor. Adam and his cousin Calvin are like, what? We need help. They had summoned King Grayskull to help. And he should help, be able to help. He has swords and weapons and a dope fur coat and swords and shields and stuff and lots of muscles. But sadly, he's dead. He can't help nobody. He's in Preternia. We just kept him here just because he looks good. But don't fret, because help is on the way. In Sun-Man, the greatest hero of them all. Quite honestly, I had no idea who this brother was. But he's a part of the Masterverse. And that was before I had purchased this figure for $8 from Entertainment Earth. But his magic melanin, Prince Sunny, gives him a great power. You gotta love the magic melanin. And there's a very interesting backstory for this figure too, because apparently back in the 80s, the young woman who created this figure, her son, who apparently had a limited exposure to comic books, was like, I can't be a superhero because he's black. None of the superheroes look like me, and she created Sun-Man, and now I have a Sun-Man action figure. But will he be able to help He-Man free the damsel in distress, the great warrior Teela, from the minions of Skeletor? Probably not, because pretty much all of these figures are from Revelations, and I don't see any Netflix logo on here, so I'm thinking he's not going to be able to help either. That Teela's going to have to keep waiting for somebody to come and help her while we cut this brother open. And here goes Sun-Man out of the box, looking pretty good, rocking his high top fade. He's got all of his accessories around him, which includes his nice, I guess that's the sun in some form or fashion shield, his stabby weapon, and a couple pairs of hands. I think I'm liking Sun-Man. He's a big guy, too. He's a pretty large guy. So let's say we take a closer look at Prince Sunny, Sun-Man. And here goes Sun-Man, all out of the box. We went ahead and put his shield on him, put his stabby thing on his hand, stuck him on a flight stand, which can barely hold him because he's kind of heavy. Expanded his wings. His stabby thing could certainly use some work. I mean, it's just a piece of red plastic. As you can see, it kind of blends in with his red gloves. I mean, his stabby thing on the back of the box, it has looks like a different colored hilt and some glisten to it. I mean, we could also mention some other things about the figure on the box, but we're not going to get all into that. But, at the end of the day, we like Sun-Man. He doesn't look too terrible. Let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Oops, sorry about that. So he has a decent face sculpt. I mean, it's pretty nondescript. I'm not sure does he look angry? Does he look bored? Does he look intense? I'm not sure. But I do like his shield. His shield definitely looks good. I definitely like the glistening part of the sun. And of course the inlay. There's some design around the edge. And I mean, the green plastic, that's plastic. You know, there's not much you can do about that. And even the stabby thing, I could, you know, I might have to do some work on the stabby thing myself, because the stabby thing looks like it has got some designs in it. Got a little bit of some raised sculpt in it. The hilt is, I mean, it looks like somebody really wanted to try to do something with the stabby thing, but Mattel was like, nah, you've already spent too much money on this guy, on a figure that, as it turns out, I assume nobody bought, because I got him for $8. And if I bought him for $8, that means he did not sell too well. But, you know, I think the star of the show is definitely his wings. They are very nice. I'm sure we could complain a little bit about the pins connecting the two parts of the wings, but the fact that he has two parts of his wing in itself is impressive. And the wings are very well articulated, at least going up and down and folding. It'd be nice if they went out a little bit, but again, we are not going to complain too much about that. We don't want to get into the habit of just bitching about shit. But the wings do look nice. They got a nice feathered texture. And again, if they had wanted to maybe throw like a white wash under there to a white dry brush, or more like maybe either or, would have really brought out the textures of these very, very nice wings of Sun-Man. You know, his costume looks good. He's a well-muscled fella. You know, his tunic is pretty cool. Like most of our Masterverse figures, there's a definite plastic feel to a lot of this. We like his boots and even the gold accents. That's actually really nice. I really do like what they did with the boots. The gold accents are pretty damn cool. Yeah, with the exception of the stabby thing. You need to work on the stabby thing. But yeah, he looks pretty cool. Sun-Man looks like he's about the same height. He's like, I think he's just a little bit taller than He-Man, and maybe a little bit wider than He-Man, as opposed to King Grayskull back there. Because as we noticed the last time we talked about King Grayskull, we did mention that him and He-Man have the exact same bodies, the exact same pretty much everything, with the exception of head sculpts and coloring. And when we stand them next to Carl, because Carl is you know, kind of much taller than everybody else, mainly because Carl is a McFarlane figure to take off Ares' helmet, but not too much, because as you well know, the Masters of the Universe figures are also 7-inch, just like the McFarlane figures. If you're familiar with the line, you pretty much know everything that Sun-Man can do articulation-wise. We've already went over his wings, which are nicely articulated. Again, it would have been nice if they could go back as well, but they don't. It's okay. He has double-jointed knees, and he has double-jointed elbows. He has a pretty good neck articulation to look down, because he's a flying character. He has to be able to look down at people. And he can look up a little bit too, because he's a flying character. He has to look up when he flies. You know, so he has, so Sun-Man is okay as far as articulation wise. He got pretty decent ab crunch there. Spins all around. Head tilts all. He does all the things that you would expect a Masters of the Universe figure to do. So what kind of value do we assign to Sun-Man? Well, Sun-Man's a good-looking figure. He has some nice decorations on him. His deco's straight. I would say his paint apps, but I think most of this is molded plastic. But it is really nice molded plastic, with the exception of the stabby thing. We seriously need to do some work on the stabby thing. But everything else looks pretty good. And, of course, as I said earlier, he did not cost us a lot of money. So, yeah, Sun-Man, damn good value. Damn good value.